How's it going, wedding filmmakers? Welcome to another installment of Wedding Film School Live. I am here today with Jay. So you got myself and Jay. I saw the comment.
The Zoom thing won't go away, by the way. I don't know what the deal is with that, but apologize.
Yeah, you guys like that custom Zoom frame?
That's so high end.
We made it just for you guys. It's not even the real Zoom frame. We worked on that all night.
Yeah.
We're leaning into our branding. We're going red background. Mine's too bright. I'll work on it. This was a last minute decision. But thank you guys all for being here. We are super excited for this show. I wasn't here last week. Jay, I think you were. I don't think
it was a disaster.
All right, so we're going to have a non-disaster show today. I love it. We've got some great films. So real quick rundown, if you guys have not joined us or it's been a while, we're going to watch films that you guys submitted to us. We have a couple picked out if we have time, which I'm hoping we will. We might pick an extra one as well at the end. And we're going to watch through about 5 minutes. We're going to try to watch through it without stopping. Sometimes we don't, because that's just, we're human, you know?
It's who we are.
And yeah, it's who we are. Sometimes we want to stop and chat. And then we're going to share some things that we really love about the film, things that we think they are doing really well, and then some things where we think they could improve as a filmmaker, kind of those next big steps they could take. And the nice thing about that format, in our opinion, is that it allows us to critique somebody who is shooting their very first wedding film, which we have had plenty of on here.
We love it.
All the way up to somebody who's been doing it for, 10, 15, 20 years or something like that. So, and of course, this is community based. We are so happy to have all of you guys here in chat. Make your voices heard. Let us know your thoughts on, different things that you see in the film, different things that we're saying, whatever. Like this is community based. It's not just us.
Bobby.
Yeah. We've got a last week ruled. I love it.
Okay, Bobby.
Boosting our confidence. Yes.
So, what's your editing candy? Like being honest.
That's me off guard with this. Editing candy. Okay, here's the thing.
Are you one of those people that's like, I don't really like candy?
No, I love candy.
Okay, good.
All right, so probably my go-to, I'll bet if I had to just like choose for the rest of my life, would probably be Skittles.
Okay. Skittles are tough for me because I like them too much, and then they literally make you so sick.
Like a whole bag. I'm big on like candy. Like I love chocolate and stuff, whatever. But like if I have to choose, it's gonna be candy. But
how about this?
Here's the thing. Okay, yeah, I want to hear yours. And then I have a backup.
No, but how about these though? Do you like these? Gummy?
What? I can't see.
Haribo gummy bears.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah, like.
Have you had the sour ones?
Yeah, really good. My biggest thing is like, it needs to be something with a little toothiness to it, right?
Yeah,
like a little al dente.
So that's why. Here's my backup one. If I'm like, this is Skittles too sweet, I can't handle it, I'm going Twizzlers.
You know what?
A little
unpopular opinion. I love red vines.
I don't, but same.
I said it was an unpopular opinion. I love. You know what? It's one of the things that me and my wife were like. You know what? We both like this.
People are gonna hate us, and that's okay.
We both like red vines.
Hit us in chat with what you guys go to.
You're editing, and you're like,
what keeps you going?
Just being honest. You're like, I know this is unhealthy, but I am eating some candy. Like,
yeah.
Honestly,
today, I don't care. I need to get through this edit.
Yeah, I got to do it. So let's do our first film today. Who do we got first?
We have. I will pull it up. Also, guys, we did not send out an email, just so you know, with who we're reviewing, because we didn't. So, boo-hoo. We've got Jimmy Savage from Savage Media, and we've got actually a lot of notes here. So let me go through them. Wild Day, shot on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Is that the 4K or 6K if you're in chat? Recently updated to their Gen 5 color science, struggled with it, reverted back to Gen 4.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay.
I actually think it's better, but I can understand you struggling, especially like right away. Yeah.
Especially if you're just like set in your way, right?
It's totally
your structure and stuff.
It's got more to it and more latitude, but it's also less satisfying.
Gotcha. Hotel for pre-ceremony was beautiful. Couple was super fun, easy to work with, a lot of personality. Prep and reception were all party and fun. Ceremony was traditional. Sorry, I'm just trying to kind of scrub through this. The mother of the bride through the reception, it was bonkers. Oh, crazy. Fire artist, street magician, stuff like that. Love that. Single shooter, tricky to capture everything. Felt pretty good about the story and the way it turned out. I do not like my stabilizer performance that day. You're gonna hear from me. Some of the shots look more handheld. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing though. Would have liked more audio from the bride or the couple or whatever, and the speeches were pretty brutal. So
it's nice to hear someone's perspective on their own film though.
Yeah,
like it helps me contextualize.
That way we feel more okay about tearing you apart for the things that you also didn't like about your film.
But it also helps me contextualize like what was their goals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a little bit of like what were the hurdles, because I think those like having that framework in mind is important to say like, oh, well, like I know, like I get it. If you leave with no speeches that are usable, not because of quality, but because of content, which isn't on you, there's not gonna be speeches in the film.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been there.
Totally. Okay, let's check out the film. And guys, let us know if the volume is good on the film as we get going. It's hard. Look, I have my meters, but sometimes what I'm seeing is good, which is I'm looking for minus 10 dB on my export meter. Sometimes you guys want it louder.
Marriage is a choice from the day you say yes until the day you leave this earth. The magnitude of what you give your spouse goes beyond gifts and security. Marriage is what you do when you don't feel like it. Marriage is nothing without a constant and consistent, everyday fight to make your number one priority that person over yourself. Marriage is what you do when you don't feel like it, a continuous, intimate love, unconditional love, and you don't know what that is until you walk through fire and still come out holding hands. Because there's always going to be something, even with someone who you marry that you're deeply in love with. Things will come up, things are going to happen. So we have to be faithful to each other, faithful to God, and remember what we did was beyond a day of extravagance. This is forever.
Did I miss something? Who's talking?
This is the bride.
That's the bride?
I think, right?
Oh, okay.
Back me up, chat. Am I correct?
I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway,
I think we briefly saw her.
but I couldn't tell who it was. I think it like maybe threw me because I wasn't introduced to her yet. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, it's the mom. I'm hearing it's the mom.
I thought it was
I'm
the
hearing
mom.
it's the bridesmaid. Felt like a sister. I've gotten 3 different answers, guys. I'm done for. I like that shot.
I like a lot of this this little sequence here. Looks nice.
Yeah, that stuff is
You should have had her look a lot. Whoa, no.
We were friends for a while. Long distance. I moved home to Michigan, and then my friend John, who's also in the wedding, he got married in 2019, and I asked her to be my +1, and she flew up here, and I remember seeing her on the dance floor at John's wedding, and I remember she was just dancing with some other people.
I wonder if that's footage of her at that wedding.
I doubt it.
I would like to know that. If it
But
is,
maybe. Actually, wait. What was she wearing? Was it a white dress?
No, it was another.
Then it might be.
It might be.
Which is cool.
I'm wondering about that. Let us know in the chat.
And she was having the time of her life, and I realized right then and there, it hit me that that was the woman I wanted
That is
to
a
marry.
very ornate
And
shirt.
so I told her that when I dropped her off at the airport the next
Not my
day.
thing.
And we started dating.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I told her.
It looks like he's going to a rodeo.
That was 3 years ago. So
Maybe the reception is a rodeo. There's fire dancers.
I will
right?
say,
So-
yeah, like it kind of depends, I guess. Like, if it matches the vibe later, then maybe I'll change my tune. Fun is fun.
Grant is saying you should wear more lace, Jay.
I would. Okay. A frilly shirt. Okay.
I, Nathan, take you, Emily,
I, Emily, take thee, Nathan,
to be my wedded wife,
to be my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
for better or for worse,
for richer or poorer,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish,
till death we do part.
according to God's holy ordinance.
And thereto, I pledge thee my faith.
I pledge thee my faith.
What the?
I used this song at the beginning of time.
Did they have some tie to like performing arts?
They must.
Oh, I'm kind of asking. He's in chat, so I'm kind of asking him.
Yeah, ask him in chat. Well, no, I don't think they're dancers based on that.
Well, I mean, there's like,
But he said
Other
the
stuff.
mom planned it or something, so I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
maybe there was like theater connections. Looks fun though.
yeah.
Kind of like a Mardi Gras thing too. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. Oh no, there's one more shot or sequence of shots. Oh no, a tripod.
A wild tripod appeared.
Okay, Bobby. So that's an interesting film because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think very ambitious, which I really like. I like someone just really trying all their ideas, trying to pull out all the stops, do something that they think is cool. You know, I think ultimately, like, not enough people, I think, try to make a film that they think is cool. If that is, it seems like a lame
and
observation.
Just like
but-
leaning out of their comfort zone, I think. And I think this one kind of forced that, right? Like, if you're doing, you know, if most of your weddings look like what the first half of this looks like, and then you get to the reception and there's fire dancers and mimes and Cirque du Soleil performers and whatnot, like, you're kind of forced to think outside the box, which is cool.
Interesting, challenging, but
Yeah. You want me to go first, or you want to go first?
yeah. You why don't you go first? What did you like about the film?
Okay. So I like that you lean into it. You very clearly were trying to, I don't know. I haven't seen your other work, or maybe we reviewed it on here, but I don't. It's hard to remember who's who always. So like, leaning into that with like that upbeat song and some faster cuts and like really incorporating. Obviously, it's important to them, right? And it's part of their day. And it's cool and unique for you, right? So I like that you lean into that, try to use that. I love this stuff right here that we're seeing on screen, I believe, which is like the dress going on. That was like perfect use of that light. So yeah, really good job. Where was the shot? Let me know in chat.
I think he said like somewhere in Michigan, but I think it was like either like
Okay,
Grand
okay.
Rapids or.
I was gonna say it looks like Midwest or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I think that stuff was like really well executed. I really like that. And yeah, I think you got like some pretty solid coverage. I know you said it was a single shooter, and I think especially when you run into like, I guess I don't know how much of this you like knew ahead of time, right? That it was gonna be like this like crazy reception with all this stuff.
Let us know about that because I'm curious how much of a plan you went into an event like this.
I think that's the other thing is even if you talked with them, right, or the mom or the couple or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna have this and this. Like sometimes I think you can't fully understand what it's going to be like until you're in it.
But I think in terms of story and like song and vibe, like if someone told me
True.
this is what my vibe is going to be, I would definitely factor that into how I shot it.
Yeah, so I think those are the things that I think we're done well.
I think this person shouldn't be hard on themselves as a shooter. Gotta fix this. I gotta fix my toque, as the Canadians would say. Looks ridiculous.
Dead air, dead air.
Dead air. No, I said I think they're a good shooter, and I think they shouldn't be as hard on themselves. I think there's some things I can give in terms of shooting tips that are really easy that will help them. But I think overall they've got talent, and I could see that in how they shot it. I think, again, like I said, kind of in my introductory remarks, as they say, that the concept, right? They showed up, and that's why I was asking, like, I wonder how much of it was like pre-thought of. Because I like that they showed up and they're like, hey, the second half of this film is going to be crazy, and we're gonna really match their energy. I imagine the couple really liked it. I obviously, like, what's interesting about this is not a normal wedding. It's not a typical edit. Not a lot of people would like that song. And I have my quibbles with the music, but that being said, I think the couple probably loved it. And so I
think they are definitely the type of couple that, like, really was amped that you wanted to go, like, out of the box of what a wedding film typically is for them.
All
like,
right.
I'm sure, they love, like, the first half and slower pace stuff too, and that's maybe what they booked you based off of, but I'm sure they like that you catered it to them.
Really good. So, but let's talk about areas to improve, because I think there's a few things in there that I think would like just like that right there. That would.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I think. I mean, maybe not the same exact.
Why don't you
thing,
go? What are some
same,
things
like,
you think the filmmaker can do to improve their films?
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
at least
so I have a few
with this
things.
film in mind.
Yeah. So first of all, there was a lot of. I want to talk about movement in your shots. This is something that you mentioned. I would have brought it up anyway. Excuse me. So a couple thoughts around the realm of movement. I don't care if you're doing, I mean, I don't like being on a gimbal all day. I harp on people about that. If you want to be on a gimbal all day, do your thing, whatever. But your movement needs to be intentional. And there's a lot of shots where it looks like there's a first 1 or 2 seconds that should have been cut on the front end, because it's you like drifting to the left and then you're like, oh wait, no, I want to push in on them or something like that. Or there's like, you're going right, then you're going left, all in the same shot. So tightening up your movement, and also knowing not every shot needs movement. Like, you don't want to just be wandering around. I mean, I don't know, maybe some like specific shot where you're like, I want this really artistic wander. I don't know. I could see somebody defend it, so whatever, don't come after me. But like, generally, you want a distinct direction for what you are trying to do in a shot, not just like ending up with what you end up with. So I think that would go a long ways. And then furthermore, in being more like specific with your direction and what you want to do, it won't make you utilize the in-editor stabilization that you, I think, are utilizing. And we saw a lot of that where it's too jello-y. And so the more intentional you are, the slower your movement is, the more intentional it is, the
and
less
even if it's just
stabilizer you need.
Sometimes it's not even just what you shot, but what you included.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, in that shot sooner. Don't show the bad
start
motion.
it later,
like,
end it sooner.
Everybody
whatever.
makes changes while they're shooting, and they go like, oh, I don't want that, I want this. Like, everyone does that.
But that's 2 different shots then, even if it's in one clip, you know what I mean? Like, those should be cut and separated or whatever. The other thing for me, I think the biggest other thing for me would be on the audio side. I have a feeling, Jay, you're going to talk about this. Maybe not, but and it goes both in quality. I think you could immediately up your audio quality. I don't know what you were using. I think it was on camera. Grab yourself a lav mic, get a Tascam DR10L, get a whatever you want, spend, $150, $200, and that's going to up your game a lot. And also in audio content, we are now seeing her. That was who was talking through that first section that Jay and I were talking about, and I still actually don't 100% know who it was because I just saw that briefly out of the corner of my eye. But like that's a sweet, nice thing. And I know you said you had some kind of rough like audio as far as content wise goes. But you don't need to include.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have included any of that person talking.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have either. And if
I didn't find it to be very interesting. It was generic at the very least. Like, and it didn't sound good. And then it was confusing because she wasn't even in her makeup, and so you didn't barely show her. And I just felt
like you have her, and you have something similar with The Groom, where it's like audio quality is subpar, I think. So I think that's going to distract people automatically. And then, content-wise, it's like, well, is it good enough to make the cut? And maybe you're like, well, I need to have it represented.
Do you remember, was there any
them.
toasts?
Well, no, and he said in his submission that all the speech audio was terrible. And
what is
I
that?
don't
like,
know.
what does he mean by that? Like, they didn't say good things?
Content-wise. Yeah.
Did it sound good?
It says the speeches were the worst. For such a magical day, they were just awkward about their relationship and didn't really talk about the couple.
So I let's pause really quick because this is a thing that happens a lot. And like, I know my conception of what wedding film is like, I take what they give me, right? Like whatever is happening in front of me, whatever sounds good, that's what I use. I don't really, if the people are awkward though, they're just awkward. It is what it is. Like I don't try to, I think it ended up coming across more awkward than anything they could have said on the stage. And I think like if you're trying to,
I've seen some pretty awkward stuff said on the stage. I'm sure you have too, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, I wish there's stories I wish I could tell that I cannot tell. So yeah, but I think it's really like, for me, what's confusing a little bit is like, it took me, like, it was like weird because there was like this front loaded content, asymmetrical storytelling, which I don't like, right? Like,
and so that was from the groom.
The groom talked, and then there was nothing from the bride.
Yeah.
So her perspective was never showed. His perspective was showed. Random toast. Like, I felt like as a storytelling mechanic, it wasn't really super strong what you were trying to say, and you were just looking for like
something to put
emotional, cryy kind of content, and so you put like whatever sounds emotional there. I wouldn't have went emotional with this couple.
Also, yeah.
I would have been like, meh, like let's keep it fun and light. I don't think I would have had such a serious beginning. And I wouldn't have picked such a serious second song, even though it was kind of baller and stuff. Like, I felt like the film wasn't fun, and they were fun. Anyway.
And so also Savage Media saying in here, I just want to respond to this real quick. He says that both those audio moments were spontaneous and he wasn't prepped. So that's like hey, you're the professional. Stop them. If you think it's going to be important, say, hey, I'm going to pause you right there. I'm going to go grab a mic. I'd love to throw one on, and then you can tell me what you're thinking about the bride and groom. Or if you can't do that, or you choose not to, or whatever, and then you come out into the edit with that content, that's your job to say.
Can I ask a question,
hey,
Savage?
The cut.
Did the person say to you, hey, I want to say something to the camera? Like, oh, I want to read this poem. I want to do it. Like,
what's up, Bruno?
I'd love to know that, because
I'll let you know what they say.
But I oftentimes
do you have anything else? Yeah, that you
criticism wise? I felt like I was saying, I don't like the second song. It was super serious, super heavy. I especially don't like when it was brought in over the ceremony. I don't like that there was literally nothing from the ceremony. I would have even like you may now kiss the bride or something to. I feel like wedding filmmaking is all about making you experience those parts of the day again. Even it's not about having a good sound bite. It's about just having a kind of auditory memory of the experience. And so just a little something would have been nice. But I also think maybe putting that stuff in your more low-key song would have been a little better. And then it would have been a cleaner story transition to just transition with like big moment, crazy party starting. Instead of like, we're like a minute into that song before the party starts.
Yes, I wrote down something similar. I think that would have been like, I didn't mind the second song as much. I thought maybe there'd be something that would fit it slightly better, but like I get what you were going for. But yes, when you had those like earlier in that song with those big hits, I'd love to see the party and the like craziness. And in general, actually, I know you had these very two distinct films, kind of the first half and the second half, and they're very different. I would have liked to see like the stuff. Who hires like fairies to guide people through the forest to the reception, right? Like nobody. I've never seen that. That's awesome. All this like Cirque du Soleil type stuff. I would love to have seen that earlier in the film because I think that's a hook for a viewer. And obviously, the bride and groom were into that.
The last thing I was going to say was I think the way a lot of those people were shot, those performers, was just not right. I think it should have been shot on a tighter lens, more shallow
Like
depth
super
of
long.
field.
Yeah.
Get in the space. Like it was like I'm seeing the ground. Like you're kind of showing off like this fantastical element, but then there's like cars in the background and weeds coming out of the ground, and like I think you want to do your very best to accentuate the surrealism of the performers, and so I think get in there, kind of push it a little bit, and I felt like that would have been nice if it was a little more weird, the shooting on that side. But I think like. It was a successful film. I'll say that. It was a successful film. And I think you have you know, you're going to do really well for yourself as you develop your palette and you develop, you know, your taste a little bit. Like something as simple as like when you did that drone stuff of the couple and you're kind of flying over them, all I kept thinking in my head is put them in the middle of that deck. Why on the edge of the deck where you can see all that crap on the next roof? You know? Like shoot lower, show me the tops of the buildings, not the like, or show me the height of the buildings behind them, not the roofs of the buildings where the AC units are. That's the type of thing where like, as you get more experienced and it all slows down for you, you'll start noticing that in camera and you won't shoot it that way. And I just see that for you. I see like you're going to keep growing. So keep pushing it, keep pushing your ideas. Like don't let anything I said just discourage you from pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. And definitely submit again. We'd love to see another film from you, whether that's one you've already done or, you know, maybe in 6 months when kind of next week season starts and whatnot.
Yeah, really good.
Sweet. Okay.
Who do we got next?
Next up, we've got Brock Jones. I feel like we dove into that film for like a long time.
Well, it was a longer film. It's kind of wacky too.
So yeah, I'm gonna say a couple things. One,
or do you want to do my thing first?
Yes, I was thinking let's do that. So we have something. Jay, actually, I'll let you preface it. Yeah.
So I think Max actually was encouraging me the other day, today. He was like, "You should put your own stuff out there more." Because, you know, I want to build trust with the audience, but also I want to get better too. So I was going to say, I'm going to show you my film, Bobby, and you can give me critique. This is a film I shot in September at a place called the Crane Estate, which is one of the hardest venues to shoot. It's like gigantic and it's one of those like state-owned venues that you can only get into for like an hour before the ceremony and so basically
this is like a very northeast thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of state-owned mansions because it's old. It's an old part of the country, and so a lot of the old mansions are owned by the state, and so they're state parks. So during the day, everyone's visiting, and then they kick all the guests out, and they can launch the wedding. So you can't get into the space until like 3 or 4. So this is an event where we go to the hotel, and the planner goes, "Don't shoot here. Too ugly." She's like, "We're gonna do it all there." So I'm like, okay. So I literally got like 2 shots of the prep, and then we get there, and they're like, "You can't come in." She's like, "Oh, I'll be able to get you in." No, she couldn't get us in. So basically, from like 4:15 to 6, I had to do all the portraits, all the B-roll, all the establishing shots. Like 40% of this film was, I think I remember I counted 40% of the shots total that I shot in the day were shot in an hour and 30-minute period. And I had to set up for the ceremony, which is about a 10-minute walk.
Dang.
And so it is how these venues go, and it is brutal. I'm pretty happy with the film. The other thing is the planner is a really great planner for us, and the bride is an industry person.
Well, and I think that just goes to show, like, look, I think it's important to say no matter, like, I don't know, we've been doing this, each, like, 15, 16 years, something like that.
Infinity
like,
years.
These things happen, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you're brand new or been doing it for 20 years. These things, like, you're going to run into these problems, and how you handle them is what's
This was
important.
actually
So-
the Crane family who ran Crane toilets. That is the Crane estate. But I will say this. I went down to the beach when I was stalling time. I shot a bunch of footage I had never shot before. And, like, at the end of the day, the assistant's like, whoa, dude, how did you do that?
And you're like, I'm a machine. Get on my level.
Well, the biggest thing is that I was like, right as the thing, I'm like, this is what's going to happen. We're about to have this terrible situation. And so I will say, it's not the best film in the world. There's all kinds of stabilization issues. There's all kinds of issues. But I will say, no excuses, guys. You got to shoot a good film no matter what. So hopefully that's at least the lesson we get. So let's do this.
We're gonna do this. I'm gonna review it, but I want everybody in chat to do the same thing that we do. We'll watch it through. Think of, if you're in chat, think of one thing when we go over the things that we think Jay did really well, and then save one thing for the things that we think he could improve on. We'll do it together.
And I have my own list that I'll bring afterwards of the things that I think.
Love it.
Emma, it seems like only yesterday you arrived in the hospital. I remember saying, it's a girl, it's a girl. Little did I know that moment you had me in the palm of your hand. You stole my heart that day, and today my heart is bursting with pride and joy and tears.
Mark, I could not picture someone more perfect to be with my sister. Not only am I happy she found you, but I am so lucky you are part of our family.
They really are meant to be together. Mark is extremely loyal, and there's nothing more important in a marriage than putting your spouse above anyone or anything.
Emma and Mark, may love and laughter light your days and warm your heart and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. Mark said he wanted to marry Emma because she is loving, caring, smart, and patient. Emma said that she wants to marry Mark because he is selfless, never hesitating to put his family and friends first. She noted that he is hardworking, passionate, dedicated, loyal, and funny. It is abundantly clear in their words and in their actions how committed they are to one another.
Look at that dad. This, honestly, this as a dad right now with like a daughter, this film was tough to edit because I was like, oh, no. Sorry to interrupt.
I now invite you to seal your bond and your promises with your very first kiss as husband and wife.
Emma, I may not say it often, but I love you, and I'm so thankful for the 22 years we got to share a room together. I love you so much, and I'm so happy for you. Mark,
Emma's perfect. So please don't screw this up.
It is a joy to see how much love is surrounding Emma and Mark under this tent. Emma, you have always had a tremendous amount of energy and determination, whether it's been school or gymnastics or work. You always gave 110%. Your mom and I couldn't be prouder of your accomplishments and the woman you've become. We've gotten to know Mark over the years, and he is hardworking, kind, and makes Emma happy. We know that you will cherish Emma through the ups and downs of marriage. Mark, Emma picked a great guy in you, and we know you couldn't have picked a better girl.
You know it's good because that font was so tiny at the end.
Dude, I was gonna say font should go even tinier, maybe microscopic level.
What do I know?
Sweet. All right, so I will go through. Guys, let's start. You guys can start right now. I'm gonna talk about things that I think Jay did really well in this film. Things I really liked about it. Things that I really think Jay, as a wedding filmmaker, as he just begins to develop, he should really lean into these things.
How do I level up?
Yeah. So, okay, a few things I really loved about this film. So, guys, also, just so you know, I had not seen this until right now with you. I think, and I see this in a lot of your films, especially, Jay, that I've seen across your various brands, I think. So whether it's you or one of your shooters, whatever, I always love the establishing shots, and we get a really good sense for where we are as a viewer. Obviously, I think this is a cool venue. Maybe after shooting there and all the stuff that you had to deal with, you think it's not as cool.
I shot here 5 times this year.
Okay. I was going to say, this feels like a place that you're at a lot.
It's one of the hardest venues to shoot. It has so much things you can do with 1 hour to do them. It's really brutal, and it bums me out because it's got so much potential, but it is what it is.
But it's like a very beautiful building and property, of course. And so getting a feel for where we are and really like what that space feels like and looks like. I always appreciate when there's like a fine balance between overdoing it and doing it right with some beautiful shots. And I think these were all very beautiful shots. Obviously having a beautiful place helps that. I also think, like, just overall, this is what I call, and you kind of said it yourself, Jay, like, this is a solid film. It's not flashy. It's not maybe going to be the very first thing on your website if you have been doing this as long as you've been doing it, right? Where you don't need that content or whatever. Like, you probably maybe have
I probably would put this on my website because so many people want to get married here that I want to say
that might be the reason why. True. But like, it's not, it's just like, it's a very solid, like, this is what we talk about, guys, where it's like, look, if you want to make videos like Sculpting with Time or something, right? Phenomenal, like, so high-end films, and they're beautiful, and they make lots of money, and they run a great business, and we love everything about them, whatever. But like, you don't have to do that to be successful. This is a very sellable, solid, like, through and through, start to finish, enjoyable film that a couple is going to see on your website or whatever and latch onto that and be like, I want my dad crying when he walks me down the aisle. I want to be married at this cool estate. I want this, that.
And I want to look beautiful.
Yeah. And it does. Like, the
bride looks beautiful, and the groom looks handsome, and they look rich.
Yeah. And that's what we all want. And I also think you had a really good story built throughout. You had a lot of really good audio to choose from, I feel like, which is always helpful. It was
honestly, I find like when you're dealing with professional class of citizens, they are more used to talking in public, and
they're
better on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are the things that I loved about it. Let's see. Anything? Love the. Oh yeah, Bruno said he loved the speed up of things kind of towards the end. I thought that transition was really good too. The DJ lights were cool. Kind of got into the dancing.
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera.
I love the way that DJ lit it. So.
Okay, things that I think that stood out to me as like areas of improvement. Again, guys in chat, feel free to share your thoughts on either things that you thought he did really well or things that you thought could be improved here. The first thing that I wrote down that stood out to me, and it's actually weird. So I originally wrote down like lighting the speeches, but all of them look good except for the father of the bride looked rough.
I think
looked like the light.
See, he just moved.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I think
because you can see his hair light. His hair light is
yeah.
still there, so he just moved.
Classic.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and that's one of those things again. Yeah, it is what it is. That's the best way to put it. Because all the other stuff looked really solid. I like that.
I might have moved it too after that one because it was like I might have like been like I don't like this. I'm gonna move it. I might have moved it. I can't remember.
Yeah. The only other two things that I think so there were some shots and you kind of mentioned this at the front, like on the stabilize, in the realm of being stabilized either in post or whatever. Like some of it obviously handheld looks good, but some of it there was some like a little bit of warping and whatever.
We could have used a different part of the shot. I just missed it.
Yeah. And then my only question, and actually Grant brought this up too, and I had written this down. I'm curious about so actually I'll read Grant's question. I have a question of reception color. How do you choose to lean into the warmth of a reception versus trying to keep the whites white? And I would.
So are you talking about
ground there?
This, or are you talking more like a shot with the
this? I don't mind. I think this is it a little warm? Yeah, but I think that's stylistic. But then there are some shots like later, like before the DJ set. I feel like even that, like obviously the background
like that.
Warm.
The bride and groom sitting there.
It was more like walls and stuff, which I think the walls weren't white.
No, it was orange. That room was orange.
Yeah.
It was lit orange. So here's my basic thing. First and foremost, it's an optical illusion that things are white. They're not white. Everything is orange. So I'll show you here. And this is what you got to understand. What you're trying to do is create highlights that are white. And then it's okay that because essentially it's 3-point lighting, right? You have your fill light, you have your highlights, and then sometimes you have a backlight, right? So typically if I had a little more, this is a really tough room too, because in front of that stage is maybe like an 8-foot area where the head table is. So you have no room. It's like a long room that's like really wide, but not deep. It might be like 30 feet deep, but it's like 200 feet long. So you can't light people the same way you normally would. So you have to do a little like a very directional thing. And so I always light this room this way because it's always candlelit. It's always orange uplighting. And so my basic premise is this. Couples who get lots of candlelight want warm light in their film. That's how they remember it, right? And so what I'm trying to do is give them that little oomph. So like it actually is all orange. Like and Jared doesn't like how orange I do it. I personally like it.
Well, this isn't Jared's wedding.
Jared would be like, it's too orange. I personally think like, is this orange looking? Is this white looking? The highlights are, I care more about, I want the rim light to be orange or to be white. I want my light to be white, but I want the room to look candlelit. Yeah. So that's just
Are you throwing a daylight balanced light on them?
No. I will usually just tune it based on the room, but I look on camera and I'll make sure I want it to look bluer than the room, but not look blue.
Yep.
And so then the rest of the room can look deeply orange as long as the person's skin, as long as you look at the person on camera who's giving a speech and you think that looks like a human skin and
not acceptable skin. Yeah.
Not that looks like a spray tan. You don't want that. Yeah. So that's just maybe my concept.
So do you want to share your thoughts on your film?
Yeah. Okay. So my opinion on this film is left a lot on the table in terms of shooting. There's mistakes you guys don't even know about, things that were done wrong. that weren't able to be put in the film that bummed me out. The ceremony to me was like 40 degrees, and it like dropped.
Sounds warm
and windy
where we are now.
And so that, kind of came up, and it negatively affected the ceremony. I only had I wish I had more portrait stuff. Like in terms of like mistakes, like I wish we didn't include some of the stabilized shots the way that we did. I wish we would have just cut them out. But I do love, I like the establishing shots. I think I used my time wisely when I knew I was not going to have a lot of portrait time. And so
I think do you just go into this mode, Jay, where like you're approaching that, it's coming up, right? You're 15 minutes away from knowing like, hey, I've got an hour and a half to get the majority of what I need. And is that like what's the percentage in that hour and a half time that made up 40% of this film? How many of those shots that you took in that time frame do you think made the final cut? Like, are you
Almost
shooting at
all of
like
them.
85, 90% efficiency at that point? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, maybe
I'm
not all the
starting with
shots,
this,
but
yeah.
every scene that I shot.
okay, yeah.
Like, so I'd
Yeah,
I'm like, I got to get the outside of the building. I'm going to go to the beach. I got to get this
Yep.
couch. I got to get I'm just.
Are you thinking through the edit at that point where you're like, I need
Mm-hmm.
3 establishing shots. I need the couple for 10 minutes. I want some variety here.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep. Yeah, I need a shot of her. I need some like pose stuff to make up for the fact I'm not going to have portraits. I need detail stuff. I need to get close. I need to be far. My big thing is I want multiple focal lengths per film. That is the biggest tip I'll give everyone is like, make sure your film feels like there's a sense of like wide, medium, tight, wide, medium, tight, wide, medium, tight. Don't give people just one perspective. That's what makes a film look high end. And also be thoughtful about gimbal, like you always say, like don't just give people. I also think being thoughtful about aperture, like this shot coming up here is, I think, one of the only 2 shots at that horrible hotel. This is just literally like one of the most ugliest hotels in the whole universe. So look at this room, hideous room. That's a cool shot, right?
yeah, I like it. The lot in the foreground.
I was like, I'm going to take this room. I'm going to make it look more, a lot more surreal by just shooting like a 1.2. So I'm just going to shoot 1.2. I'm going to put these people in the foreground, give it a sense of like the energy of the place instead of the look of the place. And then I'm going to isolate her with some light, and I'll have a shot I can use of prep. And it's one shot from prep, but it's an effective shot. It's a good shot. And I think we also did a little bit of a tilt shift.
I was gonna say, I think you blurred. It looks like you blurred the like outer
that
upper
back
left and
over
bottom
there
right.
because that's ugly.
Yeah.
And so the key is like take something bad and make it look like something good by in-camera techniques and post techniques, and then it becomes an effective shot. So yeah,
like it.
Cool. So I want to show everyone one more thing because this was an okay film. Successful, nothing amazing, but good. Out of this film, I also made something for the planner that I think you guys are going to be, it's a totally different vibe. And I got this to her really quick in 2 reasons.
And
One,
we've talked about this before. This was a couple months ago. I feel like we talked about
I do this all the
generally.
time. Is like I give them something for their feed. So check this out. That's the planner. And so that's just a little like, it's totally focused on what's important to the planner.
Yep. Tables and
her. So
and-
she's in there, and I don't know if you caught.
yeah, she's
that.
like setting the napkin. Or
Well,
something
also that's her right there.
oh, dancing.
So anytime I'm like, I see a planner get on the dance floor or do something,
Yeah.
I'm going to record that and I'm going to put that in there because on her Instagram feed, she's trying to sell to her potential client. I'm personal and I'm fun to work with. So I just like this planner refers me. I think I'm working with her 11 times next year.
Dang.
And so it's just like, if you give people value, they'll give you value back.
And what do? You just text them this video and you're like, hey, I loved working with you. Put this together. I thought you might like it.
Some of these people now expect it.
Oh.
They'll be like, hey, can we do that thing? Or as I'm
Can we
filming.
do that thing where I get I'll get on the dance floor in 5 minutes. Can you film me?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm gonna go. Hey, let's get a room clear. I get content, right? I'm getting all this content, and then because then they advocate for me all day. They're pushing people around. I'm like their number one vendor, which a lot of filmmakers don't get, but we get that treatment when you actually serve people. So I encourage you, don't be a pain.
Very cool. Sweet. All right, let's move on to
next filmmaker.
Film. And Jay, you feeling like we could fit 2 more films total?
I have no problem. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this today.
Let's freaking do this. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to Jay's gonna queue up the film. I'm gonna let you guys know who it is, but I would love for anybody who is in chat right now to submit a film. If you have already submitted, as of yesterday, let's say, we
drop a like, by the way, guys. Drop a like.
Yeah, hit us with a like. We've got I think we have a lot of people watching, which is great. So hit us with a like real quick. And then we would love to review an extra film today. So go ahead and submit. If you have submitted today or yesterday, you are already in the running, in the drawing, whatever. We have a lot of submissions, which we love. Thank you guys. We had just a ton of submissions this week, which is awesome. So we obviously cannot get to everybody, unfortunately. But yeah, we'd love to do one extra one. So you can go ahead. I'd never linked it. Let me do it real quick. You can go ahead and submit a film if you have not already today or yesterday.
Has anybody got a chance, by the way, while he's talking and you're submitting, to check out our S5 II review?
Yes, brand new camera from Lumix. Pretty cool,
dude. Honestly, this is
cool.
It's gonna
shake things up
big time.
Cheap and
it's pretty awesome.
Everything
it's
they fixed autofocus.
It's pretty good, and it looks really solid. And if you guys want to hit that pre-order button, and over on our video, it helps our channel. So if you're gonna buy it anyway, there's a link in the S5 II video. If you want to hit that pre-order, helps us. But also, I wouldn't tell you to pre-order something that isn't good. And I'm telling you, if you are on the fence, this is a great camera. The only thing you should be on the fence for is the S5 II or the S5 IIX. I honestly think, given who knows what's going to come out next from their competitors, but I honestly, it's always good to have 3 good options.
Well, you know what's really good is so we're talking Sony A7 IV, there's the A7S III, or Canon R6 or maybe R5, right? And those are $3,500 or something like that, and they're worth it, right?
Well, even the A7 IV is what, $2,500. Even the $500.
Maybe now, but the A7 IV is pretty. Yeah. Well, not old, but coming out with something sub $2,000 that does everything is ultimately, even if you don't switch, it's good for you too, right? Because Sony's gonna have to match, Canon's gonna have to match, or they're gonna lose market share.
Now I'm looking if it does 4K 50.
I thought it did, or 4K 60.
Yeah, it definitely does. It doesn't do. I guess it doesn't do 50. They're gonna add. Oh yeah, it does.
Oh.
It does. It's 47.95, but it does 4K 50.
Well, there you have it.
So
the whole LUT thing was really cool. We talked to the Lumix rep, and seemed
well. I would say this, Sky London. Neither does the A7 IV, neither does the R6. It's not competing with the A7S III. It's not competing with the R5. Those are $1,500 more expensive. This is also a hybrid camera, so it shoots a much more megapixels than a 12 megapixel sensor on the A7S III.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I think it really is all about who's calling me in the middle of a live stream? Should I answer it?
Come on.
Sure, I'll answer.
Answer it on stream.
Yeah. Hello?
Maybe it's Jared.
Your card is being charged for $456.
You're getting charged.
If you would like to cancel and cancel this order, please talk with our representative.
Should I do it?
By pressing one now.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk to this scammer. Here we go.
Thank you for calling Walmart Security. This is
You're live on Wedding Film School.
Is there? I hear that there's a purchase I'm being scammed for. Please help.
Alright, do you use Walmart regularly?
No, I don't use Walmart.
You offer
I go to Target.
editing services?
Okay. First business bank to make Target, PayPal, and Walmart is working together. So did you share
His name is Eric for sure.
Well, there was a guy. He was in my town walking on the street, and he did ask me. He said, "Hey, do you have any Target information?" And I did give it to him. I did. Should I have not done that?
You deserve this. Guys, I'm gonna get
yeah, I do.
more water.
I do use Target online.
While Jay does this.
Okay, let me just verify one thing, sir. We are not authorized to ask for your any personal information.
Oh, good.
Sir, the thing is, your Target or online details is running in Maryland and Ohio that our server found it suspicious.
Oh no.
And your Target account, and there is a washing machine with a $490 has been purchased.
What model is it?
Online.
It's an online washing machine, or is it?
The washing machine has been ordered on your Target.
What model washing machine? I've been known to buy washing machines. This is why I'm asking, because I often buy multiple washing machines, and I wasn't sure which one, because I might have ordered it. I'm not sure. Which one is it?
Sir, you live in Massachusetts, okay?
Yeah, but what I want to know is which washing...
Sir, listen. The washing machine is being delivered to the address.
But what is it? Because I ordered several, and I need to know which is which washing machine.
No, sir, tell me one thing, sir. Did you order from Ohio?
Usually I try to get my washing machines from Ohio, yeah.
Washing machine center capital.
Oh,
Did he hang up on you?
Yeah, he called me a stupid a-hole.
Well, I mean, you did order multiple washing machines, so you can't really blame him.
He wouldn't tell me the model. I wasn't sure.
Oh, man.
I need to know which... anyway, we just bring tons of value on this live stream.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's watch your film. Who do we got from?
This is from Brock Michael. Brock Jones. Wait, let's go. Yeah, Brock Michael Films. Panasonic GH6, Sony A7 IV. We'll only use the Sony for the ceremony, though. Something to know: the bride's father had stage 3 cancer. That is sad.
No. These films, man.
He pushed really hard throughout the day and really wanted to get more time with him.
They get me.
Just didn't have the energy, unfortunately. Thankfully, he was able to dance with his daughter. Other than that, the date went well. They purchased a 4 to 6 minute highlight and the raw footage.
This is just what's cool, man. It kind of doesn't matter how good the film is when you've been able to do that for someone.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, what a harsh transition here.
Yeah. Moving on to the great things of life.
Very emotional, yeah.
Here we go. Don't like that for the first sound I hear.
Ever since I first met you, there was something about you that I couldn't put into words. But after months of growing together, I began to...
Hold on, let me just... One more time. What are your feelings on that siren right there?
Ever since I first met you, there was something about you that I couldn't put into words.
Look, okay, if
but
this
after
is
months
like...
of growing together...
if the fire station or firefighters or whatever is like a family thing, right? Maybe the bride's...
But mainly it's like, it's the very... It's like, it's pretty startling.
But not there. and if fire trucks, being a firefighter does not play some important role in either of their lives, I would not put that sound in probably at all.
I think I would not put it in no matter what, because it was very jarring. Anyway.
And began to see glimpses then of what I see clearly now. You make me a better man.
From the moment I met you, I knew this was something special. I never felt more complete than I do when I'm with you. I'll never know how I got so lucky to find a partner like you.
What did you miss, Kyle?
You look great.
Jay, are these out of focus?
A little.
Is that going in and out? Okay, I couldn't
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
tell.
it's a little.
I internally
backdrop.
strive and tirelessly work
Ceremony.
to become the best version of myself for you. Because I know that is what you
Mainly, there's something really weird
You've
with
taught
the
me how to love.
saturation and something
You've taught me how
weird
to
on
cry. You taught me how to be vulnerable and open myself up to be loved.
This is one of my pet peeves in a film is when they present moments from the first look before the first look, like point of contact. You know what I mean, Bobby? Like they have like someone
Rephrase
talking, like they're like doing first like things that clearly happened after the first look, and then they show the moment where they first look.
Oh.
So
I
we've
don't know
like
if that bugs me as much, but
yeah, I want that first. I just like, to me, the first look is like, I don't mind if some of the talking maybe could be, but I like it as more of a linear kind of experience. Unless it's like just a portrait session afterwards, in which case I don't feel the same way. Anyway.
A way I never knew possible. When I look at you, I see a future of laughing, crying, puppies, children, competing in all the games, and most of all, I see a future of happiness. I promise to dream with you, celebrate you, and walk beside you through whatever life brings. I vow to respect you, encourage you, challenge you as you challenge me to be the best versions of ourselves. I vow to consciously choose you every single day, to fight for you, love you unconditionally and wholeheartedly for the rest of our lives. I promise to always see you with the same eyes and heart that I see you with this exact moment. Jenny, you are the love of my life, and I'm so blessed to have found you.
If I know myself like I think I do, I'm probably crying right now trying to get through this. But these tears are the happiest that I have ever had fall from my eyes, because today is the day that I get to make my best friend officially mine forever. My life has since changed for the better, and it keeps getting better. And just these 2 years of knowing you, you've provided for me a space where I feel safe to be my truest self and feel loved for it. You've shown me what it looks like to show up for your partner and to love the person more than you love yourself. You're exactly the man that God made to be.
I think we call that vocal fry.
You've already supported and stood by me through so many challenges life has put before me, and have surprised me by demonstrating how much selflessness and love a person can show his partner. I promise to be true to you no matter what we face in this life together. I'll sit with you through darkness and dance with you in the light. I promise to keep you grounded, yet inspired, and to always challenge myself to give you the best version of myself that I can. And finally, I promise to honor, respect, and love you more and more with each day that goes by, as we continue a life that I couldn't imagine living without you, without my heart. I love you.
As soon as Joe came into Jenny's life, all we heard about was, he's a firefighter. This is like the sexiest thing ever. She's turning red right now because she doesn't believe it. And it's definitely true.
Is he in chat?
Yes.
I would love to
believe
know
he
what
has.
your source was for those toasts. What was your audio
Yeah,
source?
I feel like that was a shotgun mic or something, or like maybe a mic draped over a speaker.
Actually, I'd like to know all your sources throughout the whole day.
Give us all of them.
Give me your sources.
Brock Michael, you are in chat, so we expect an answer.
Yeah, let me know
Tell
all your
us
audio sources.
sources.
Because I'm curious about, some of the ways they sound.
That is interesting. I've never seen that at a wedding.
Okay, unrelated to this film. Don't you hate it when you're like, oh, it's a first dance? with the dad, the dad dance or whatever. It's usually the dad
Yeah.
dance, by the dad
Yeah,
and daughter dance. And then you magically in the middle of the dance find out that it's a directional dance. And
And then they don't tell you, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm set up on the wrong side.
Yeah, and it's like you just have their backs, so you have to like. It's like they're just facing one side.
That happens all the time. It's
so
like I can't get it right, kind of.
It's so brutal. Yeah. Anytime someone says in a consult, "Oh, me and my dad, we have something special," I always am like, "Are you gonna face one direction?"
I actually did an Indian fusion wedding this year, and I know they had a bunch of planned dances, and I remember speaking with them. I was like, please tell me the direction that it will be facing. But the nice thing is it was a presentation.
Unfortunately,
I guess,
that's like a thing you have to screw up a bunch of times before.
Yeah, you have to be on the wrong side of that over and over until you
weirdly one of the most experienced wedding
the thing
filmmaking
that sucks
things
is I want to shoot, right? Most times I want to shoot from back, like kind of where the DJ
where his camera is over there.
Yeah, kind of maybe, but I don't know this whole setup. But I want I want the guests in the back. I don't want the DJ's lights in the back. But the way they do their dance, and it makes sense because they're dancing for everybody. You have to shoot towards those lights, and it looks worse.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Anyway, it's just only wedding filmmakers will know.
Yeah, let's finish this up. Unless we're at the 5-minute mark, in which case we can...
Yeah, we're done in 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7. I like that last shot.
Wish it was stabilized. Great logo.
Cool. All right, so before we dive into it, Brock Michael says I had a lavalier mic for the first looks, and the sister had a surprise speech, which ended up being, the only one I used. I had a shotgun mic only for her. I guessed it correctly.
Yes. I would not have used that.
I agree.
Anyway, what did we like about the film, and what did we not like?
Do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
I'll go first. I love the couple had great chemistry, which was nice.
Yep.
And it looks like you got a lot with them, which is also nice. Like a lot of just variety and really showing that connection really well. And so I think that was successful in that way. I also think you showed a lot of the connections between not just the couple, but the people at the event. And I also think that is a really big part of wedding filmmaking. It's all about relationships. It's like understanding the relationship between a couple and each other, a couple and their friends and family, a couple and the space that they're in, a couple and their tastes and the objects that they choose for their day. And I felt like it was successful in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go. So a few things that I wrote down. I thought you had really good coverage. Jay kind of touched on this. You have content from, all parts of the day. You have makeup. You have first look. You have stuff, at the reception. You have, obviously, bridal portraits. You have some detail shots of the reception of the ceremony, stuff like that. So, yeah, good coverage throughout. I think that you got good audio content. In that, and I'm going to touch on this later.
Honestly, I was going to bring that up too, is because I have a lot of mixed feelings about the audio content, and so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but I want to be sure.
The
to say,
idea was good.
Hey, you went into the first look and you said, "Hey, you guys are going to read letters. I want to put a mic on you." And I think that's more what I'm talking about here, where it's like you made the correct decision to say, "I'm going to do this." Unfortunately, I think that didn't happen at the reception. Sounds like it was a surprise speech. So, I've been there too. Sometimes you're not ready for it.
I wonder if he took his stuff down. Though.
Yeah,
that's what
who
sounded
knows
like
at that
to
point.
me.
But I think for example, in the letter reading saying, I'm going to put a mic on you. I might want to use that content. That's the right move. So good job there. And then I think, the structure to this film is generally good, right? I think there are things that could be done differently, but the overarching structure I think works. And yeah.
I agree. So let's talk about some things we think could be improved. First one is a lot of interesting, like this shot right here. Like this is just a poor composition.
Yep. This to me, that screams like like my second cam and I only have one lens for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if the ceremony place is small, then I have a nice tight shot. And if it's bigger and I have to be more on the outside, I have a bad shot.
You got to get that 7200, and it was missing.
Yeah,
that.
dude, 7200 changed your life.
I think there was like, especially in that Val reading, like whatever we did to recover those highlights, you shouldn't have shot into that white fence. You should have shot the other direction. And when the guy's like, well, I want to stand there, you should have said, I can't shoot that way. There's a white fence in the background. Like, look over there. That's the other side of it. And it's the same exposure as the couple. You should have shot, even if it was ugly, you should have shot that direction instead of into that white fence right there, which just wipes them out. And it also makes you have a combination white balance, which also looks weird. So should have fixed that.
And I think the thing with that is, and look, I think where's your second camera? Because you should immediately say, oh shit, this is not going to work. And you need to go get that second camera rolling some other shot from the other side, whatever. Or even if you don't have a second camera on you, right? They're like, oh, we want to do it 10 minutes away. And no, leave all your stuff. It'll be quick. And you just, I don't know, whatever, right?
The lighting looks nice, by the way. I meant to say that. I like the lighting during the...
Oh, yeah. I like the reception lighting, too. Like this, going back to this here, you don't need this in full. You do not need to record video for their entire letter reading, in my opinion.
Oh, I
this
think
is
you
not
do.
something... I don't think you need to.
Well, what if they say something good?
I think you have the audio for it then. And I think... But I'm not saying don't record. I think what I'm saying is, if you notice this shot does not work, that background, they are in the shade. The
I guess I'm saying,
out,
like, before they even got into that moment, you shouldn't have even set your camera up there.
I agree.
Because you're looking at the overexposed background, and then you're looking at the shadow where they're standing, and there's no stinking way it's going to look good.
But I'm saying if you didn't recognize it, pick up that camera and move it while you're recording.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
move it.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with that.
Photographer does not choose your shots, in my opinion.
Well, I would just tell the photographer this is why it doesn't work for me, and they would agree with you. Like they shouldn't want to shoot that direction either.
Yeah.
Like you should just say, well, this is why I can't do it. Like, and this is why it helps to have like a mastery and understanding of why you're doing something, because you do need to advocate for yourself from time to time, and explaining to people that you're not just being a diva is helpful. And you're not being a diva. If you would have told that person, like, I can't shoot that way, like, they would have listened. So I think you should have done that.
Sorry, did you have more to add to anything, Jay, before I go?
I was going to also say there was a lot of, like, weird vignettes, like one song for, like, 20 seconds. And it felt disjointed. I would have liked a little more of a cohesive thing. And this is a weird thing. And I was going to ask you, and then before I hand it off, because I think it's a good handoff. I noticed this in a lot of films, in the first film too. Like, and I get it. Like, I'm in my own little bubble of luxury weddings, right? So I know there's going to be high-end elements at every event that I can elevate the film with. I don't shoot things that... I'm very sensitive to anything to me that looks cheap. Like, all I could look at was that one light post in the background while she's spitting. That's all I could watch. Or showing just things that aren't nice looking. Things that
a bunch of Coors Light bottles in a bucket.
Or like a plastic tablecloth. I would never show a plastic tablecloth in a film.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's a...
Is that just my bubble, or is that like a thing that I've always done that helped me get there?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think obviously you need to lean into what you're shooting, right? And if you're not shooting high-end films, there's a chance that you might...
They have this beautiful... They have all these beautiful elements.
But I think you're right. For this film, they have like this really cool arch back, or I don't know, it's not an arch, whatever. They have a nice reception. And I think there are things where you just say, I don't need to shoot this because it's going to bring down the feel of this film, or the like level or whatever.
Like right there, all I could look at was like that cheap looking string light. I wouldn't show that.
Yeah, I would just shoot that differently. But yeah, or like that. Yeah. Like I don't know. I think I don't actually see that as being as like...
No, as bokeh balls, they're nice. But when you
whatever,
can see like the plastic and you can see the cord and
like... Yeah, I think there's something where you just say like, I want to present the couple and their day in the best light,
That
not
stop sign right
literal
there
light.
just kills me.
Yeah. And we've talked about that before, paying attention to your backgrounds and stuff. So
Yeah, that's one thing I saw throughout the film is like there was a lot of things like look at those tables. Those are nice tables.
And that's so easily fixable, which is kind of the great news, I feel like.
I agree. Just I would say like I think a lot of this person's issues is they're missing one or two lenses in their kit that would help them isolate their subjects better. And that's what I'm noticing. So anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, a couple things. So the audio transitions I wrote down, they just didn't work for me. It was like sitting on a song for 20 seconds and then a change, and just like it's not so much the change necessarily, maybe it is, but it's like how it changed just didn't work. And I don't have I'd have to listen to them a few more times to give like exact critique, but there's something there. The two things I really wanted to focus on is I mentioned that I really think that you did a good job in your decision. Like, I'm going to mic you up for this first look and for letter reading. I always recommend that anyway, but there's the flip side of that, which is that you included their entire letters to each other. And this is, I think, where you need to be the professional and say, not every piece of this needs to fit into this film. It dragged on in that middle for me. Not that any of it was distinctly bad content, but I think you can cut that up, cover it up a little, and make it a little more streamlined and really have more impact because it doesn't drag on at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could have been tighter. And I wasn't trying to make fun of that girl's voice, but I think you have to downplay the vocal fry in her voice. You got to cut some of that treble. It's just crispy and painful. And I know that's her voice, but it's like I don't think she's going to want to hear it that crispy.
Yeah. And then that same, picking your audio better goes and plays into the maid of honor, I think you said it was, who did the surprise speech, which I get. Like, you were caught off guard. I would totally include that in their, reception film so they have it and they can listen to it. I would not include that. I actually don't even know content-wise because I could not understand what she was saying.
I would say one of the things we tell when I roll audio at a reception, Bobby, I start it an hour before the reception and never turn it off.
Interesting. I don't do that, but I sometimes
we've learned the hard way. We've learned the hard way, and now we just roll and we just and we walk it up like after everything's
and we
done.
Don't know that was the problem. I don't think he said that.
I think that's what he was implying, that he had it set up.
He was caught off guard and
turned it off and then turned it back on. And I would say, like, just don't turn it off. Just leave it rolling until you're going to pull it down, and then you will never have that issue because it's like...
Especially nowadays, you can just automatically sync audio in like any...
It's so easy now, and like you can literally record on a 32 gig card like 3 days straight. Yeah. Like you don't need to be precious with that stuff.
Yeah. The one last thing that I want to touch on, and this is it's not even unique to you. But I think this is it like clicked for me and I was like, this is what I've been trying to say. And I think this applies to a lot of filmmakers. There's a shot where you see, I think it's the groom or maybe it's groomsmen playing darts. And they're in like their man cave or in a garage or whatever it is. And I watched you start, I'm assuming you're on a gimbal maybe, start on him. And he's throwing darts, and you're working your way kind of like just drifting all the way to the left over to the dartboard, and it's this wide shot the whole way. And
this shot, by the way, was the one that bothered me. It's so gross.
And I think that there's this mindset.
Your shot's coming up, though, Bobby.
Okay, where it's like, oh, I need to see the whole thing, and it all needs to be in this shot. And I don't think that's the case. I think you need to take that and
this one right here?
Yeah, like I don't need to drift all the way to the left.
No,
where I'm sitting on the shot for 6 seconds. Like, get me a tight of him throwing, get me an over the shoulder of the dartboard and a dart hitting. Like, approach it like a filmmaker.
That's a big one. Yeah, make us think in terms of sequences and not in terms of what just happened.
Because if you can cut that up, it can make it more interesting and more visually appealing for the viewer. Whereas you lost me in that because I'm like, oh wait, we're still, and it's not like a super long shot, but I'm just like, oh, we're still on the shot.
Well, also you took a moment that could have been cinematic and you made it tacky. It didn't look high end
or like documentary style. Like get a tight shot.
Get a shot of him throwing, and I would have walked up and been like, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot this like really shallow depth of field.
Yeah,
throw it down.
Oh, like hit me with another one.
Throw me another dart.
Yeah,
I want to get this sequence, and like you're kind of directing. Yeah.
I don't think that's overstepping your boundaries. Be like, hey,
No.
I'm gonna get a cool shot of the dartboard. Like, throw another one for me. Like, they're playing darts. Let them play darts, but just time it. So yeah, I think some sequencing there, and I think like that was just a good example. But I think that goes not only for you, but for a lot of other wedding filmmakers, where it's like I've never known how to say it, and I think that sequencing is like what I'm missing in some stuff, where it's like you're just kind of covering with this medium wide shot, and it's like, get in there, get some variety, put this together as a short story.
Well, that's really what it is. Filmmaking is all about showing things quickly, telling you where to look.
Yeah.
It's like, look here, look here, look here. And it's like, it's almost like visual illusions where you're trying to hide the ugly parts and idealize, like, fine.
This is what's important.
He throws that dart. Maybe you make him throw it till he hits a bullseye. He's going to want to, that's cool. He's going to feel like that it's even like a little cheesy, like, this day is a bullseye. Like, there's a lot you can put into the day. Like, if you stage your moments in a way that's not staged.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And that's staged but not staged. I would call that directing.
Directing. Yeah. That's filmmaking. That's storytelling. Yeah. All right.
Sweet. Okay. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I told you before this one that we are going to do one more film, and we are going to pick it live. We don't have it pre-picked, so to speak. So
drop me in Zoom. Drop me the link.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to give them another like 2 minutes. I
got something to talk about while they're doing it.
I was going to say, the link is posted on the top. Go ahead and submit now. We will choose in just a few minutes, and in the meantime, we will talk about something.
Yeah. So first of all, you should check out our podcast.
Yes,
it's
cool.
Have a wedding filmmaking podcast. I got coming up next week. We're interviewing Sharon from Fior Films.
If you don't know her work, go watch it.
She's amazing. She's coming on the podcast this month. I got Peyton Frank coming on the podcast. We got, I don't know, who else? Oh, you know what I'm going to have on? Actually, I think he's in chat. Max is going to come on, Max Smith.
Hey.
So, but anyway, we talk about business, podcasting stuff. And the other thing I was going to talk about is this is an awesome light. I just got this thing, and I want to tell everybody, if you are interested in a really cool light that magnetizes, not to that.
Whoa. Wait, I didn't know it has
magnets.
Stick it on something metal? Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I love it. This thing is awesome. This is the Aperture MT Pro, and it's a little expensive, I think, but
it's Aperture.
But it is, or Amaron or something. Is it Amaron?
Oh wait,
no, this is Aperture. Amaron is Aperture, just so you guys know. I think Amaron is their studio line.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, like it's all plastic. We have a lot of it actually up in the ceiling. I would never bring it to a wedding, but because it's not durable enough.
Yes, this is Kodak for those who don't know.
But this is a great light. So this is my mini review of this light. Bluetooth, which is great. You can put it into your scenes. Say you're shooting 60Xs. You can actually include this light into your scenes and control it with Bluetooth, which is really nice. We just did, I can actually play some footage that we just did. And we just did this wedding up at New Year's Eve, and we got to shoot really, really, really cool sequence with this footage. And it was really sweet. Let me put it up.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait to see it.
But anyway, do you have any like weird lights that you like to bring to weddings or anything like that?
I use my phone light a lot for rings.
Yeah.
I wish I had basically what you have. I just haven't bought one. I know I can and should.
You can and should.
Because I would like some color. I think that would be a fun thing to play with this upcoming season. But you know, one of the things I found with like I have some of the like torch LEDs as like my smaller lights.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to use those even at like a low setting, it's just so for shooting rings, it's so big, and so I really like having my iPhone light. Like it's enough.
Well, and it's also
and
like
really just lights. It's
like
very
that,
directional, right?
It's a light that like is spotted instead of
yeah, exactly, instead of a panel, and so yeah. But I don't bring any like a specific. I mean, I bring like my Aperture 60X, and I bring a Practa light.
I don't always bring it, by the way. Like we don't always bring it, but like when I'm like when I have a wedding like this New Year's Eve wedding where I knew it was gonna get dark, winter weddings is when I start breaking this stuff out. When I know like our second portrait session is gonna have no light,
black.
like, and I need to do something interesting because like typically sunset, right, is where you're bringing flares into the picture, you're creating like a more interesting story, and then you don't get that for like in New England at least for like 2 months out of the year. But we did.
Let's see some footage. Is this a raw footage reveal?
Yeah, it is raw.
Oh boy. Whoa, what is happening right now?
Oh no. Let's see. This stuff. So we got to do this. This was
wait, I have seen this.
Yeah, this was in the
an upcoming video we're doing.
No, this is what we released. This
might be in a video we released. yeah. Okay, I was getting them confused.
So like you can, just fun, man. Like I went and found like a reflective surface, and I was able to.
For those asking if Jared was going to make it today, there you go. He's here.
He's there. But we, went out.
Yeah, just a fun little.
But what I really like it for is stuff like this, where you're like really, really, really like kind of getting in there and creating like just that sense of a little like mystery and interesting and stuff like that. That was fun.
That is very cool.
Cool. So what do we got?
Talking through that. Sorry, I totally forgot. And,
you forgot.
Now I'm looking.
So,
I got wrapped in. I was like, those are cool lights. I kind of want to play with them. Here we go.
What can I say? Cool lights are cool.
Cool lights are cool lights.
Yeah. So you can be creative. You can bring stuff like this to weddings, and during portrait sessions, you can get a little music video-y, which I think is fun. Don't be locked into your normal paradigm, guys. Do something. Break it up. In New Year's Eve, I knew it was gonna be wacky, So I was like, we can do this. Although, like, I was not familiar with the vlog, and the noise on it is not my favorite. At least I didn't shoot it exactly right. So every time I watch this footage, I'm like, it's so noisy. Like in those mids, but I think it'll clean up fine.
That's also raw. Yeah, I was gonna say that's also raw. So.
And I also think, like a sequence like this where you're like, I'll just probably put this like stuff in like really raw like this into the edit, and so I think noisy footage is acceptable in that kind of.
For sure. I sent one to you on Zoom.
Okay,
and I will reveal it shortly. So while Jay gets that queued up, I want to go over a couple things. One, first off, Jay mentioned it. If you have not listened to or watched our podcast, we recommend doing that. It is not on this channel here. It's on our other channel, the Wedding Film School Show, which is also.
I forgot to release an episode last week, but I have one.
Our bad, guys. But we are very consistent there, about once a week, usually, sometimes once every 2 weeks. And lots of great guests, lots of great content and topics, and we are able to dive deeper into wedding filmmaking, more like theory and business and stuff like that. You heard it here first. Sky London saying it's the best podcast, absolute best. So thank you, and we think it's pretty good too. And so go check it out there or on podcast platforms of your choosing for the audio version. It's on all of them. And then the other thing, guys, hit us with a like if you can, real quick, if you've not already. We've got plenty of you here, and our likes do not match our viewers right now, so we would love that. And if you want to help support this channel,
even the cool people who always comment but never like, don't be a jerk.
They're semi-cool.
Or if you don't want us to start begging for super chats or demanding that you go to our Patreon, then just at least hit a like button.
Yes. But if you do want to support this channel a little bit more, and you want priority in having your films reviewed like once a month or whatever it ends up being, you can consider becoming a member. It starts at just $4.99. We've had a few new members today already, which I appreciate. You can see them. They show up in green. They get a cool little logo next to their name as well in chat. And you can get some other benefits as well. But that goes a long way in helping us create all this content, doing these live streams for free for you guys. You can hit the little join button next to...
Some people saw my little stream this morning that I did for 1 minute. For that somehow happened.
There you go. Yeah. So, I think that is everything there. I'm just gonna go through chat real quick, see if there's anything. Can you get John Stanbaugh on? I don't know who that is.
Probably. I probably can do that.
All right. How do you guys feel about the photographer flash going off in a portrait session like that?
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't care. Why would I care?
Yeah, I don't think I care that much. I think if it was like really, really a lot, I would be like, hey, can I get 3 minutes with this lighting?
It depends on what we're trying to do. If someone's like talking, I care more about the sound when I'm trying to record audio than I care about the way it looks.
Yeah.
I think we're making a documentary film, and anything that's happening in real life is fair game. I also like money. And so if someone is, that's crazy. But so if I'm constantly,
You like money?
Yeah, I do. I like money. I like to make money.
So you can buy more washing machines, right?
So I can buy more washing machines. But also, like, I know, like, if you're hard to work with, people don't like that. So
yeah, for sure.
I would much rather. Okay, I got the film.
Yeah, I generally agree. And if I were to fix it, I would fix it while shooting. I'd be like, hey, can I get just like 30 seconds? I just want to do this one shot or something. I don't know. Like,
at the end of the day,
really
it's like no one cares.
And it would have to be like insane for me to say something. I'm not somebody who removes it in post. I know some people do that.
It's just not a problem I care about fixing.
Yeah. How would you have shot the vlog differently?
I think just anytime you're shooting log, like for different cameras, like essentially you're compressing that all your shadow information and your highlight information to that narrow log space, right? And so that means you're just naturally going to get more noisy footage. And I just tend to find, like, once I understand a log a little more, like that was my first time like shooting vlog for a whole wedding. I probably would have taken that footage back and I would have been like, oh, I don't like that noise. And I would have just finessed it. There's an ISO level that it wants to be at that it just, honestly, this is why I don't shoot log at weddings. I only did that for the review because I don't want to deal with that. I want to be able to go be creative and focus on what's in my camera and not have to also do math freaking calculations the whole time trying to figure out, like, well, I want to shoot 2.8, but I can't because if I put the vlog at this level, it's going to be noisy. So, like, I would have just I just shot at the wrong ISO level. It looked good on camera, but then it didn't look good in post.
Gotcha. All right, so our next one. First of all, thank you guys for all.
Can you hear this, everybody?
We really appreciate that. Yes, I can.
Great.
This is from Alex Jackson. Happy Pairs wedding video.
Great filmmaker.
Happy Pairs.
Member, right?
Yes, also a member. First wedding in Italy. Very cool. Used a
So
Canon
cool.
R5, rigged out with a small rig cage, shot handheld most of the day, shot in C-Log 3 with a monitor showing a lot. Quite dark at the end. It was outside, and I haven't invested in a great lighting system. I need to research on best places to put it. Well, we have content for you. Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Here we go.
High above the mountains, far
That's a cool
across
spot.
the sea.
Yeah.
Carving out a canyon.
I like, by the way, when someone sends us, like, this is a big deal wedding for them. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm always like, it's such an honor when somebody's like, this is a big moment for their career and it's special to them. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Today, Nora, I joined my life to yours, not only as your husband, but as your best friend, partner, soulmate, confidant. I promise to be the shoulder you lean on, your rock, and your companion for life. With you, we walk this path together from this day forward. As today, we build a formidable team for life. I feel so fortunate to have you here by my side today.
May fair winds and following seas be yours forever. Cheers, salute, l'chaim.
I like the pacing. It's fast. I have more of an issue with those lights than I do a flash.
With what, the string lights? Or
Those strobing crowd
yeah.
lights. That's so brutal. Not his fault, but brutal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present for the first time Mr. and
Ooh, good
Mrs.
moment.
Connect.
Since the day you walked into my life, it has been more fulfilling. My smile has been bigger, and my heart has been more full.
You died, Bobby. Heads up.
Oh. Let me go fix myself.
So good job. I like that film. Really solid. You know, I'm gonna do something right here, that because I am inside an alley, and I like this stuff a lot, by the way. I think there's a lot I really liked about this film, and like really, the first thing I liked about the film was I liked the pacing. I liked that the film was like, it just got to the point. I honestly, that is my biggest beef with most wedding filmmakers, especially inexperienced ones, is I always be like, come on, let's go. Get to the point. Like, just get to the content, hurry up. And this thing I felt like was really brief in a good way, but like also really covered a lot of ground. He's back. Covered a lot of ground. We got to know the couple. You know, clearly they're an older couple, right? Like, who knows? Maybe married later in life. Who knows? Second marriage. Like, there's like, you could see that there was like that dynamic, something going on in that, and I felt that connection between them. I felt that without them saying the part of the story that maybe is painful. Like, people don't typically like to talk about their divorce or someone dying or in the wedding film, nor should you include it. But it is important that you feel the gravity. And I'm not assuming it's a second marriage. Maybe it's not. But I just felt like this was really important to them and special to them. And also, I like a lot of the ways, especially a lot of the ways, like, there's some storytelling shots. I want to find one of them. Some that I did not like, which we'll talk about. But then there's a lot that I was like this right here. This is a great sequence, right? A little chef's table-ish, you know? And, yeah. And then, of course... you're in Italy, so that's good. It looks cool.
That doesn't hurt.
What about you, Bob? Good old Bob.
Things that I liked. I liked the. Sorry, I don't know what you said. I liked the pacing of the film. Like, it just felt.
I said that.
Right.
We both agree.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's just like very like I don't know. We had this more upbeat song, and we went a little more upbeat for it when it happened, but like. It wasn't too slow at any point. It wasn't too
tasteful.
Fast. It just like, it was just tasteful and right. And I think part of the pacing and part of your shot selection and audio selection, whatever, one of the other things I liked is you made the couple just feel very like elegant. Like this just felt very them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think that's good. I liked your dance footage. A lot of it, I think, was
actually.
Cool.
Now I was gonna pause on that really quick because I think you made a really, really key observation. Because I had said maybe it's a second marriage. Maybe these are. Who knows what? Maybe they just met later in life, but like the stage of life is important to the couple, right?
Yeah.
Who they are.
They
like,
aren't 20.
No, exactly.
They aren't 22, and they aren't here to like.
But they don't want to look old. Not to say that they're old. They don't want to look boring. They don't want to look. Yeah. So like you
they
like.
Still want to look in love, and
You made them come across as elegant, and you made them come across as sophisticated, and I think like without making them seem boring. and old.
Yeah.
And I think that was really that's very successful. Good job.
Well, I think part of that is like making them like loving and caring, and like if there wasn't this story to it, a lot of the shots would just be boring.
Yeah.
And they might appear boring then, but because there's this story and this like overarching love that you and it's a wedding day obviously, but like I think that makes it more interesting and captures them. I also think that kind of along those notes, you like leaned into the day pretty well. Like this day, it did have actually a pretty good dance floor, but like it seemed like a somewhat smaller-ish gathering, with like probably a long cocktail hour or a long dinner, and like there were a lot, like I don't know if it's like you have to be willing to go a little bit outside of what you might typically do to cater to the couple. They don't seem like a couple who wanted a ton of like getting ready shots of them and like, I don't know, like it felt like them. The day reflected them, and you captured the day. So yeah. What about things, Jay, that you think could be improved on?
Honestly, I might do it from an NLE from now on because I'm so much faster. So I'm marking things on the timeline I don't like.
Oh.
Don't like this. Don't like this. Don't like
that
this.
Plate shot.
Don't like this. So here's the deal. First of all, I have a rule: no raw vegetables. I also have a rule: no cut meat. It's just gross and opposite of elegant. Not nice. This shot is a missed opportunity, right? Because
that is a good way to put it. Yeah.
Because you look here, right, and it's like, okay, how would this be shot if it was on what's that show? The Chef's Table or whatever. This would be someone show them the way that you showed this shot. This should be how you show this shot. It should be shot from the same angle almost. And if you can show them, this is again, think like a filmmaker. Show them putting it on the plate. Show them preparing it. Show the chef putting
setting down the plate on the
That's a story. This is just like a quick moving. It's not high class looking. It's not elegant. I think this footage right here is not nice looking.
It's pretty dark.
It's very dark. It honestly needs a lift, which let's see if I can do it really quick.
Oh, while he does that, I will say one other thing. You mentioned your lighting, and I don't think there's a lot of scenarios where it really, 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 really needed lighting. But going back to that plate shot, I think a light, 45 degrees off and behind it or something. You could make some dynamic lighting while everybody was dancing. You're not in anybody's way with it. You can make some dynamic lighting to make that shot even better. Maybe there's some other shots where that could help too, but
yeah, I felt like this shot just needs to be like that.
Jay's quick and rough color grade extravaganza.
So I lifted the shadows. I warmed up the highlights. Looks better, right?
Yeah, I think it was too dark for me. And I'm not against dark shots. But
so this is how it was.
It's just copy pasted, right?
Yeah, well, this is them. This is me. Him. Me. Him. Me. Him.
Yeah.
I think it...
And I get, you have your style, whatever, but, there's just not, it's so flat and dark.
I also think, I was going to say one little thing is, I felt like I didn't get... He had a drone, and I didn't really get the full kind of Italy thing. Where was the iconic...
I have something written down there. Yeah. So things I wish there were more establishing shots. I know we have the drone, but I want some shot. That's a really cool building. I don't know if it's a house or whatever, hotel, something. A little villa, if you will. And I would have loved to see more of that. And if possible, again, like Jay said, if you were in Italy and you could get around, get some shots of kind of Italy or the countryside or wherever you were, just kind of establishing where we are a little bit better, I think could have been cool with not just a drone shot of the building. And not to not include that, but I just wanted more of that, especially knowing the backstory behind it. You also had a shot of your drone? ? Or somebody else's drone?
I assumed it was someone else's drone.
That would be my assumption too. I would not put that in there. I think it's confusing for the viewer. I don't think it fits in the story, and I think it was out of focus. So that's a very small thing that I would just take that out. yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, and I would say this: dark and moody, deep shadows, fine. Under
Dark and moody though doesn't mean dark. There's still light being used the right way.
the issue is this: is like you can barely notice that they're in an olive grove.
Yeah,
which is too dark. You want to see those olives in the background, and like maybe you don't warm it up, maybe you cool it down. That's fine. Maybe you shoot it more of like a. By the way, I think a lot of people they like dark shots. What they really mean is they like greener skin tones.
Contrast,
which is a perfectly valid
shadows,
option. Like having everything be warm and stuff. So this is if I green it up a little bit, But I don't. It was underexposed. You should never be underexposed. That's not a look. You know what I mean? It's like expose it right and then put a color treatment on it. Fine, but like it was underexposed, and that was bothering me. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
good stream.
That was very loud. Sorry, guys. Yes, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for participating, being in the chat. We do this every single week, Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, 10 a.m. Pacific, and if you are not in the U.S., whatever time zone you are here. We appreciate all of you being here. Go ahead, start submitting for next week. We had a ton of submissions, maybe more than any other week, Jay. I would venture that guess.
Yes, thank you so much. I love that.
So we
Channel's
appreciate
growing.
that.
You guys are the best.
Yes, show up, hit us with comments, watch our we had a very recent video on the new Lumix camera that we got special pre-access to. We have a recent BTS film that's out. So go check that stuff out. Check out our podcast as well on our other channel, the Wedding Film School Show. There's some cool photos of us. And we will see you guys next week here at the same exact time.
See you guys.
Thank you.